So why do keyboard enthusiasts hate numpad?
No numpad?
You see this? This is a problem. Howdy hey, I'm Hipyo Tech, and I heard your cries for a numpad. This is the keyboard layout you've never heard of, probably. It's what I like to call a 69%. That's not factual, I just made that up. In order to quench your thirst for numpads, or just generally be entertaining if you're not a numpad thirster, I'll be taking a look at a keyboard that is a little bit big.
Oh yeah!
But also a little bit small.
Oh yeah!
Well, you know, me too, buddy. Me too. Because a lot of you say you can't go without a numpad, well, I'll be putting that to the test by going with a numpad. In this video, I'll be building an incredibly premium keyboard kit and also preventing my cat from ruining it. Hey, that's bars. Stick around. Speaking of sticking around, if this is the second video of mine you've watched, then you might as well hit subscribe, as there's a good chance you aren't. Also, if I hit 1 million subscribers this year, I'll dye my hair blue. Now, first things first, Win Studio sponsored this video. How sponsorships work with keyboards on my channel is they buy a slot for the video and nothing else. They don't get to tell me what to say about it, they don't get to review the video. All my thoughts are my own. There you go. I do this to support the channel without having to make you watch 18 ads about VPNs in the middle of a video. Now first, let me get the board unboxed, and then I'll tell you just a little bit about it. Now, I look at a lot of budget keyboards on my channel, and this keyboard is definitely not what we'd call budget, it's what we'd call premium. Now, after removing the top and middle housing, wait, where's the keyboard? Where's the keyboard? The keyboard is not in the box. Where is it? Oh, okay, they sent me 2 boxes. Kind of a really weird way to do it, to put the top and middle housing in separate boxes as the bottom housing. But hey, you know, I'm not here to police their boxing, I guess. Well, actually, you know, is that good for the environment? Anyways, as you can see, this keyboard is pink and incredibly pretty, honestly. But it's not really much of a keyboard yet. We're gonna have to build it ourselves. You also might notice some batteries if you're keen-eyed. And yes, this board does have support for Bluetooth, if you pay $15 extra. Now right about now, you're probably wondering, Hipyo, $15 extra, but how much is the keyboard itself? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. If you're watching this video on release, then 400 units will be in stock from January 30th to February 2nd. You'll be able to get them from starting at $305 US. So this keyboard's on a bit more of the expensive side. That's not including keycaps or switches or anything like that. But the layout is incredibly unique, and we'll talk about that more later. Oh, later's right now actually. So here's the case compared with the standard TKL size. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger, but not taller. That's because this board says, screw you Efro, it says bye bye, get out of here, we don't like you. But also it says, hey numpad, I'm a little bit lonely numpad, you want somewhere to settle down? You want to settle down over here?
Oh yeah!
Honestly, I think the board's just a bit moody, but some of you might like the numpad. Some of you also might like the color options that are available. You can customize this keyboard's little weight accent color, as well as the top and middle housing colors. But now it's time to actually build the keyboard itself. I'm just gonna install the little weight that I was talking about earlier with a little bit of wow stick, link in the bottom left, by the way, click view product, and this cute little badge in the top housing. Now, this keyboard did come with 1 million different other random things, and the least satisfying paper tear of all time. What the hell? But overall, it was all packaged really nicely, and I felt like the presentation was incredibly premium. Now, this is a prototype unit that I got, so I wasn't expecting too much, but it really seems like everything was there. Like, look at all this foam that's ready to build out the keyboard with. Now, I'll be experimenting with this a little bit later by building the keyboard with and without the case foam. So keep an eye on that. With more premium keyboards, sometimes they actually sound better without foam. Sometimes, not all the time. Some people think it's all the time, and I think those people are really silly. Also, as you can see right here, this board has 2 separate PCBs. And similar to me, it has a switch so you can turn it off. That's me when you don't hit subscribe and leave a comment that says good funny comedy Hipyo. Also, by now you're probably wondering what my cat Nola is up to if you're a viewer of the channel. She's sleeping, thankfully, for now. Now, because most of you skipped that part of my video anyways, I lubed the stabilizers off camera and installed them onto the board with the foam. Because I like good deep sounds, I opted to go with the polycarbonate plate for this build. If you're new to my channel, I like fog. Next, it was time to go get some switches, and oh my god, no. Oh, that sucks. They were so organized. Hi, did you help? Thank you for the help, I really appreciate it. Yeah, so my lovely cat Nola decided to knock my Switch container off my shelf, spilling it everywhere. Of course, it was the Switch container that I needed for this build video. Of course it was that one. Of course. Anyways, as I slowly descend into madness, let me grab the switches that I'm using. These are Gateron Oil Kings that have been lubed and filmed. A little bit unnecessary for Oil Kings, but hey, you know what? Let's go over the top. These are a linear switch, and if you're new to keyboards, they're kind of just the average decent linear switch. They feel heavier to type on than an MX Red and a lot better feel-wise. Now remember, when inserting your switches, always support from the back if it's a hot swap board. Oh yeah, did I mention this was hot swap? That means you don't have to solder the switches when you put them in, so if you're new to keyboards, that is a very nice perk. You also might have noticed that the number pad is completely detached from the rest of the PCB. I'm not actually sure why they did that, but we'll discover that it actually helps the gasket performance quite a lot, so maybe it was that. Speaking of gaskets, I'm putting them on right now. I'm recording this with virtually no script, so I'm kind of impressed that that flowed so well. Now this board also supports a modified top mount, but I'm not going to be doing that today as I just wanted to test out the gasket mount. Oh, and then Noah should. No. Your desk privileges have been revoked. Sit on my lap instead, okay? There you go. Yes. No. Now, I don't know if you guys like these segments of me including Nola in my videos. I'm not forcing it. It's literally, this is my life now. If I'm building a keyboard, she is involved. So let me know if you like these or not. Leave a comment. Anyways, speaking of involvement, I had to get involved by connecting the number pad to the rest of the PCB. That was a bad one. Also, I inserted all the switches in case you didn't see that part, because that did happen earlier. Remember earlier when I was talking about gasket performance? Well, gaskets are those little things that I put on, and they dampen the typing feel and sound. If done properly, it can also give your board a general bouncing typing feel, which this board kind of has, except it's only like on the corners, and I'll get into that more later. Now, I'll be leaving all of this foam out of the board for now, but stick around because I'll be putting it in later as well. Earlier, I also mentioned colored accents. In my case, I have black accents, which makes my board black and pink, not related to a K-pop group or anything, just related to two colors. Overall, building this keyboard is really simple and not something I feel like most people would need a guide for, at least in this way of building it. Whenever I try and build keyboards, I try and do it as dumb as possible, and this keyboard came together quite easily. But we're not done yet. Now this board's looking a little bit like an ice cream sandwich, and that's really making me hungry. I'm kind of into it. I really love that the base of the board is a solid color, but how it kind of looks from the front is it actually makes the solid color an accent color. I think that's cool. In fact, I thought it was so cool that I went to go pick out some keycaps. And in this case, I decided to use JTK Night Sakura. These are keycaps that I've used in a build before on the channel, the sand build, and that board had its living privileges revoked. RIP Sandboard, please pour one out for the Sandboard. Now this is a really beautiful keycap set, and I honestly have no idea if you can get it anymore. It was an old group buy on the Key Company. But if you're looking for keycaps, then check out my keycap buying video in the top right. Now building this, I kind of realized I haven't actually built a keyboard with a numpad in such a long time. I've only checked out pre-built keyboards with numpads, which is so weird. I'm a keyboard channel, but like I honestly just don't look at numpads because I don't use them. I don't use them at all, but you guys use them, so here I am. Now, as we talked about before, this keyboard decides to cut off its F-row and keep the numpad. I found in general use, this is actually pretty good. It's just like using a 65% keyboard, but when you need to use the numpad, it's there. If you're someone that uses it a lot, you'll really appreciate that, but you might also miss the F-row. Personally, I miss the F-row more when I move to a 65% than I do the numpad. But hey, that's all preference. I also found using this keyboard was generally a joy. Now, my stabilizers in this video don't sound very good, but that's because I ran out of lube. Keyboard guy ran out of lube, kind of cringe. But the typing experience on this was really nice. It felt just bouncy enough, not overly too bouncy, not overly too dampened. And as you'll see in the sound test in a second, without foam, it actually sounds really good. But wait for the one with foam. Wait for the one with foam. Speaking of foam, if you want your desk to look really nice, then check out this coffee shop desk mat that I just released on Kinetic Labs. It's my desk mat, by the way. Check it out. Only $23.99, and it looks great. Speaking of great, let's go ahead and just listen in to see how this board sounds without foam. So this is just one particular way you could build the Wind XR2, but I think it's really, really solid. Like, overall nitpicks would be the price is a little bit expensive, but honestly, the board feels premium enough to make up for that. It's not trying to be a budget board, and it doesn't look or feel like it. Now, the layout is really unique, but it's not the first keyboard to do this layout. It's just you've probably never heard of it, and I'm calling it the 69%. The math is wrong, but don't fact check me on that. Anyways, while I was rambling there, I went ahead and swapped in the foam in the board, so now it's filled with foam. You can't see that, but you'll be able to tell in a second. I think overall, including the foam was a great idea because to me, the board sounds a little bit better, but it also does feel a little bit more stiff. But here's my question. Those of you that can't go without a numpad, is this enough for you? Are you satisfied? Do you like this board with a numpad? Or does this just leave you wanting more? Leave a comment down below of what you think, and I'll be leaving you with this little sound test comparing before and after foam.